Well, hello there everybody and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays. We talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, I'm an ecologist by training, and we are back in Coral Island here, trying to farm in an ecologically friendly manner. Now we're just finishing up the watering of our plants here, and we have got a festival going today, so we are going to be checking that out in a moment. I just have to finish watering, there we go. Now we're just going to quickly fill those gaps there with a carrot and a turnip, I think maybe a potato as well. Do have potato seed here, there we go, all the gaps filled again. Now it is time to, well, I guess, go drop some stuff off by the museum, and there we go, 2 items donated, and we got some glass there as a reward, yay. But wow, I can't wait to get sprinklers for the farm, because we watered the garden and we lost half our stamina, just like that. So yeah, sprinklers will make life so much simpler. And of course give us the opportunity to also do other things during the day as well. But here we are at the Cherry Blossom Festival. That is the one that is today, so let us take part. Now of course the festival like this gives us the opportunity to chat to everybody in town, or as many people as we possibly can. All these little question marks, we're just going to quickly chat to everybody so that we can introduce ourselves, and that way we can also find everybody very easily later on, when we for example do quests for them. Well, that took a while, but we have all the characters that we possibly could meet here at the festival we have now officially met. So let us take part in some of the activities. And let's start with the Balap Karung, which is the burlap sack race. Which, wow, that was a tight race. But we did go through to the next round. And again, second place. At least we got through to the third round. But unfortunately, my stamina is just not enough to really keep up with everybody else. So maybe next year. At least I got some candy tree seeds, so that's nice. There's also a shop where you can have a look and see if there's anything you would like. But nah, I don't think we have the funds to really afford any of that. But let us come and toss in our little potato here into the potluck. There we go, it is called a potluck after all, so let's put the potato in there. And let's start the main event. Let's see what Miss Ross has to say about this. Okay, it's okay. I can go with that. So that's kind of a success, I guess. I guess the rest of the potatoes we can sell, along with the brown trout and the daffodils we got in the trash. The thing is, previously I threw in a moth into that potluck there, and then it is completely inedible. So yeah, don't do that. Throw in something that can at least be eaten. I guess the better quality, the better. Right, now Sam has something to say about the produce, and I think it is to actually give us the quest to ship the bronze quality vegetables. And yes indeed, so many imported fruits and veggies here, and as it says there, it's very expensive to get it here. Now, not only is it expensive, it also results in a whole bunch of carbon emissions and those types of things as well. So it's not the best to actually import veggies. It's far better if you can produce your vegetables locally. So that is where we come in. Indeed, we have to ship bronze quality vegetables and fruit, so we are going to work on that over time. Now we do need to buy some seeds here, so let's actually first sell all the non-bronze quality vegetables and flowers, and then we can buy some more veggies here. So let's actually just go for a few relatively cheap things here, and then we'll also go for some fertilizer to try and get better quality vegetables and flowers. Now that thing of imported veggies versus local veggies. Locally grown veggies generally also taste nicer than a lot of the imported stuff, because you can harvest it at the right time. You don't have to harvest it semi-green and then artificially ripen it off the plant. You can wait for it to be pretty much ready to eat and then harvest it. And there we go, our seeds again planted randomly, trying to have as much diversity in the garden as possible. And then we'll just quickly ship off our bronze quality veggies and flowers there. And let's actually, I think, let's go into the ocean once more and let's see what we can actually find down there. And here we are, back in the ocean, clearing some more trash here, trying to find the things buried in here. And of course, I will be harvesting some more kelp as well, Again, we'll talk about kelp a different time. For now, I'm just going to be harvesting some stuff and maybe catch a little critter or two. There we go, we have finally located one of these little lantern thingies. And there we go, another coral site healed. But here's the thing, there is another nudibranch. Remember last time we chatted about nudibranch literally meaning naked gill, and then there are gastropods meaning stomach foot. So yes, the naked gill stomach feet are back again. And if we look at the description of the nudibranch here again, you'll see that it says that it's highly venomous. Now, I said that I couldn't think of a highly venomous nudibranch, but there is at least one. Now, yes, there are lots of poisonous species, and remember, poisonous, you eat it or you touch it, and you get the poison on you or in you. That is poisonous, but venomous means they bite you or they have stinging cells that inject venom into you. Now, there is one species, the Glaucus atlanticus, that I know of, the sea swallow it is also called, and they feed on Portuguese men of war, what we in South Africa call bluebottles. And they are cnidarians. They've got stinging cells that they will use as defense against predators. However, these nudibranchs, these sea swallows, will actively consume those Portuguese men of war. And in the process then, they ingest those stinging cells. The stinging cells don't sting them. Instead, they just go, well, that's cute. I think I will use that for my own defense. And then they incorporate those stinging cells into their body. And they then become venomous because if you touch them, they will sting you with the stinging cells of their previous victims. Meaning that those sea swallows, they don't create the stinging cells or the venom in it themselves. Instead, they get it from their prey. But the majority of nudibranchs are in fact poisonous rather than venomous. But there is at least that one species that I know of that is venomous. Now, just because I only know of one species, or just because we as scientists also only know of one species, doesn't mean there aren't more. Oh, there we go, another lantern. Doesn't mean that there aren't more that are venomous. It just means that we haven't discovered them yet. Nature is full of weird and wonderful things, and it's very possible that there are more of those types of organisms out there than we know of. And another coral site cleared. Now there is something interesting up here as well, and this is what they call a sea mushroom. Oh dear, our inventory is full. You know what, I'm going to eat this wasabi. Nothing quite like a wasabi snack underwater, but there we go, a sea mushroom. And it says they can only be found in the deep sea. Now, we're not even in the deep sea. We are actually in very shallow waters, so I don't know what they're on about with them only being in the deep sea. They are definitely here in the shallow waters. But the sea mushroom we see here, they are not true mushrooms. Yes, you do have fungi living in the ocean, in the marine environments, but they are much smaller and they don't form these typical mushroom fruiting bodies. Instead, they would be thin little threads and they do their decomposing work, but they don't produce these mushrooms that we associate with, well, land fungi. And there's only one species of fungus that we know of, again, that will form a mushroom underwater. And it was also discovered relatively recently, which is really, really cool. And that mushroom is an aquatic brittle stem in the Satyrella genus, and it's known as Satyrella aquatica. Aquatica, of course, referring to being aquatic or underwater. And so far, it is the only known underwater gilled mushroom. So it is quite an interesting species, and it was found in Oregon in 2010, or described from Oregon in 2010. And I just think that is absolutely amazing. So what on earth is this sea mushroom? Now, there are some things known as sea mushrooms, but they are siphonophores, meaning they are related more closely to other cnidarians. So those will be things like your sea anemones, your Portuguese men of war, your coral. Those are all cnidarians. They've got stinging cells, and they are some of those siphonophores in the deep ocean. So I think this is what it is supposed to resemble, that do kind of look like mushrooms. Not quite in this way though, but the game here does classify it as an actual mushroom. So yeah, it's difficult to know exactly what it is. But there are also some corals that are known as mushroom corals, so maybe it actually refers to that. And here we go, another beautiful day. But you know what, I'm going to just carry on off screen a bit, and I'll be back in a bit because I do want to get some bronze ore, so I'll be doing some mining off screen, and I'll be back with you guys again in a moment. And we're back, and we have a few more crops to harvest again, as always. I have also done quite a few things off screen here. I have mined quite a bit of bronze ore, and we have smelted those into bronze bars as well. And I have also set up 2 mason jars over here, and I have systematically been pickling some of the potatoes and the cauliflower that we have been harvesting. And that is actually a great source of income, especially at the start when you don't really have many other options for making a bit of money. Because as you can see here, one pickled potato sells for 130 coins and the pickled cauliflower sells for 280. So that is a very nice income. Now, as you can also see here, we are approaching the end of spring, so we really don't have a lot of time left to actually plant some things. We've planted the last of the cauliflowers the previous day because they would take about 10 days to mature in the game here, and that means we can harvest them the second last day of spring. So now we are left with the faster growing crops here. We've got some potatoes in the ground, we've got some turnips in the ground. We're going to plant some flowers as well. We've got the peonies we're planting here, and we are also going to be planting some daisies in a moment. Again, still interspersing the flowers here with the other crops we are planting because we do want to attract quite a few pollinators to our farm so they can do their thing. Ideally, what we should have been doing is we should actually have been leaving some of the plants here to actually flower. That way we could get seeds from the crops that we have been growing. And those plants that we are growing and that are actually reaching flowering age, well, those are the plants that have been doing well, and they are perfectly suited for growing in our conditions. And that's what I love doing in our garden. We have a few carrots that every year we let some of them seed, and those carrots that have been growing and flowering and are now seeding, well, those plants are perfectly suited for growing conditions here where we are. So next year, if we plant the seeds we got from the carrots this year, that means that they should be, theoretically at least, they should grow well, because they are descendants of carrots that have done well in our growing conditions. So ideally what we should be doing is we should be saving seed. Now, yes, first of all, it does mean that you are growing plants that are well suited for your area. But secondly, it also means you are saving quite a bit of money. If you can, just grow your own crops. And lastly, what can happen is you can actually end up with some very interesting cultivars. For example, years ago, we grew corn, and we grew a strawberry popcorn and a sweet corn, and we actually accidentally hybridized them. And what we got are these weird corn that look like they've actually been grilled. They've been on the barbecue, and they have this grilled appearance, which is really cool. And I still have some of those seeds. I really should actually try growing them again, maybe in the next growing season. We have caught an Assam Silkmoth, but unfortunately our inventory is full here. We'll come and pick up the Silkmoth in a moment. We also did get a bronze quality coconut here, and I'm wondering whether that is going to count towards the 25 bronze quality fruit we've got to sell. We'll find out momentarily. But at the moment, a lot of these palm trees are carrying fruit, the coconuts that we can harvest. Now, coconuts are really cool. They have a dispersal mechanism known as thalassochory meaning dispersal via the ocean. Because the coconuts we have here, they are buoyant. As it says, it's got a hard shell. Can it float? Well, yes, it can, because the overall density of this is less than the density of water. Therefore, it can float. And it's very important for the dispersal of the coconuts that it is able to float, because those coconuts that end up in the ocean will then float with the ocean currents and end up goodness knows where, especially the ones that are here close to the ocean. When the coconut falls on the beach here, if it's a storm or high tide, spring high tide for example, may reach up to this level where the coconut is growing, and then those coconuts that fall on the ground here can now be swept away by the waves and end up somewhere in the ocean, where again it can be carried by the ocean currents and end up somewhere else. Now, these Assam Silkmoths we've got here can actually be used to make proper silk. Not in the game here, but in real life. They belong to a genus of moths, and that is the Antherae, and this particular species is Antherae assamensis. And it produces a wild silk, meaning a silk produced by a wild silk moth, not a domesticated silk moth. So unlike the domesticated silk moth, where the moths can't actually fly, these moths can fly, as we see them flying around in the game as well. Interesting, I did just notice there that it says that the larvae produce a high quality silk. Of course, the silk is spun into a cocoon for the caterpillar when it pupates and goes through metamorphosis to become a silk moth. And traditionally, the cocoons may be boiled with the larvae still inside, so in essence killing the larvae in the process. But you can also let the moths come out of the cocoons first, and then you boil the cocoon with a little hole in it, and then you spin that into the silk. That is known as non-violent silk. It's silk that is produced without harming the animal in the process. So either one of those two methods usually used to actually produce the silk. And with the Assam Silkmoth here, it's one of the species that the silk produced is known as tassar silk, which is quite a vibrant golden hue of silk. Now I did get a second one as well. We can offer the one and we're going to donate the other one to the museum. And we also have got quite a few other things here we can donate and offer, like the cannonball jellyfish I'm going to offer as well. We have got the catfish I'm going to offer. We've got the tilapia I'm going to offer. We've got lionfish I'm going to offer. We've got a barramundi I'm going to donate. And we've got the masquerade mask here we are going to donate. So quite a few things, most of those gotten from the trash. So it does help to actually rummage around in other people's trash in the game here. Now I've given the choice between donating and offering certain things, like for example the lionfish there and the catfish. Oh, hello there, Wasabi. I'm obviously going to first offer and then later on donate, because offering rather than donating may give us access to quite a few cool things. And it seems the goddess wants to talk to us. So apparently the altars over here hold the key to rejuvenating her strength and healing the land. Okay, and it seems we can finally make some offerings. Let's see, can we actually offer anything at this altar yet? Yes, we can. Ah, wasabi. That was one of the things we had to actually offer. So there we go. We offered something. Let's see, we also do need morels, turnips, carrots and daisies. Now luckily we are growing turnips, carrots and daisies at the moment. I may actually be able to get some from the shipping container as well. And morel we should be able to find quite easily. And it seems we cannot yet use these other altars, I guess. So those animals that we could potentially offer, yeah, we're going to have to offer them a little bit later. For now, I am going to store them for safekeeping. And the other things we are going to donate here at the museum. For example, the masquerade mask, one of the Assam Silkmoths, and the barramundi there, which we did not have to offer. Now the lionfish and the cannonball jellyfish and the catfish, if I get any others of those, I will come and donate them here. But for now, I'm going to be storing them in a chest to offer them later. There we go, we've got a daisy, we've got a turnip, we just need a carrot. I'm pretty sure we are going to get a carrot soon enough. Yeah, in 2 days we will get those. Now for the other one, we should be able to donate some wood, some stone, some fibers, some sap. I think those are some of the items we could donate there. I'm pretty sure there is something else we can donate as well. I think otherwise it would be seeds of pines or maples or oaks. We're just going to be shaking a few trees and let's see what we can get. It took me way too long to realize you don't have to chop down the trees to actually get the seeds. You can just bump up against them, you can kick them, and in the process you have a chance of, there we go, getting something like a pine cone or an acorn. There we go, I do believe that was the last pine cone we needed. Until now I have been running up and down and up and down and up and down everywhere, but I do believe once we have actually finished the first altar, we'll unlock fast travel, which will make life so much simpler. That means we can very quickly get from our farm to over here by the lake temple, and I think also pretty soon we'll also unlock the fast travel to the mine area, to the cavern. Alright, but here we go. We're just going to donate 10 logs, 10 stones, 10 fiber, 10 sap, and 5 pine cones, and there we go. That will give us a recycling machine, which is also going to be very, very useful. Let us donate those 2 items there. And there we go. We have been granted the ability to travel between fast travel points. And now we can fast travel. Okay, so we've unlocked the lake temple, the cavern, the farm, and the diving pier. The 4 fast travel points that are, especially initially, very, very important. We now also have a recycling machine, which is also very, very useful. Let's plop that down, I think, over here. The recycling machine here will allow us to turn trash into scrap, which we can then use, for example, to build the extractor, which we have to build. Right over there, you see, we still need some scrap. We also do need some wood. But I do believe, along with the fast travel points here, we now also have unlocked the second altar at the temple here. So here we go, indeed. We now have the catch altar also open, which means we can offer our cannonball jellyfish here. We can hand over our Assam Silkmoth here. We can offer our tilapia as well as our catfish. And of course, we can also offer our lionfish. And now we're slowly but surely starting to make a dent in some of these offerings. Now we have almost all the material we need to actually build the extractor. We just need 2 scrap. So let's just actually plop in a whole bunch of trash here, turn it into 20 scrap, and that way we'll be able to finish up the extractor in the morning. And there we go, let us go to bed. And as you can see here, we made quite a lot of money with our farming this day. This is a new record for us actually. So as you can see here, lots of money to be made with the pickled potatoes and pickled cauliflower. Oh, also quite a lot of money made with coconuts. Haha, good to know. But I think that is actually a good spot to end today's episode, everybody. So thank you very much for joining me on our little adventure here. Next time we'll be back. We'll be harvesting some more crops here. We'll be continuing pickling, and we will go explore the ocean a little bit more. Next time we're also going to build the extractor, and we'll be chatting to Ling at the lab a bit more. So if you've got any comments or questions, please pop them down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a nice thumbs up and share with your friends and family. And until next time, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!